Hi guys, welcome back to Clare's Kingdom, where we talk facts, walk fierce, and remind the world that well-behaved women rarely make history. Life is not a fairy tale, okay? This is a part 2 to to the Housemaid kind of breakdown video, so make sure you go watch that. Life is not a fairy tale. As a woman, like I said in my previous video, it's important to have power, presence, and leverage. Power, presence, and leverage. If you do not have these things, if you do not have the stability, if you don't have the option of choice, if you don't have the option to decline, the option to withdraw, the option to take your time, that puts you in a very vulnerable place. And in the movie The Housemaid, we know that the man, the established powerful man, he goes for this secretary woman who's just basically making ends meet. She's a single mother and he basically love bombs her. She's basically desperate, so she falls for all of it, the whole facade, until they get married and he starts to reveal his real character. Now, when I tell you that when I watched this movie, my brain chemistry just altered. And even like this last week, I've just been thinking about power dynamics with older men and the attraction or the fascination. And I feel like as a woman, especially as a woman who will tend to gravitate towards that energy, there's nothing wrong with admiring people, admiring men, or being attracted to a certain kind of man. But the question you need to ask yourself is, why is this man attracted to me? And now, this is not to bring your self-confidence down or to bring your worth down, because you deserve the world, period. Like, you are a powerful woman, you are a queen, Cleopatra energy, okay? That is why you found this channel, that is why you're here right now, because we are all queens, period. But two things can be true. Yes, you deserve the world. Yes, you deserve to be spoiled. Yes, you deserve to be waited on, all of that good stuff. But at the same time, it is also true that life is not a fairy tale. Those two things can be true. Now, what do I mean? If I am a woman in a specific point in life, I'm working towards, let's say you're working towards your degree, you're working a job, you're working towards buying a new house, you're working on becoming financially stable or financially free, you're working on, building wealth, building something, building your name, building your business, your brand, and you're mid-process, and then this man of power, stature, status comes to you, especially being a younger woman and a beautiful one at that, and a woman with a promising future. Because I've noticed, especially even in this movie, we can see, and in general, there's this cliche of certain men going for powerful women that are like in their becoming, or women that are literally in the process of becoming something great, and somehow they get derailed by this man that comes out of nowhere. And it ain't no regular Joe. A lot of the time, it's not your regular Joe. It's this promising, established man. Sometimes they'll domesticate them. Sometimes, a lot of the time, women do willingly allow themselves to be domesticated. So I'm not gonna say that's completely. I'm not gonna say it's completely the man's fault, because it takes two to tangle, right? But the point is, it's just the cliche of that dynamic happening. So when I go back to my original point, you have to ask yourself, why is this man attracted to me? Yes, I'm beautiful. Yes, I'm smart. Yes, I have a promising future and I'm working towards something, but why is he attracted to me? And when you start to ask these questions, I think that's the most healthy thing you can do, number one, because you asking these questions doesn't necessarily mean now the man is a predator or the man is bad for you, because he can very much be, the love of your life, or someone that can actually bring good to your life. But the point is, as a woman, you need to ask these questions, no matter how you may feel emotionally. You need to be able to detach and see the situation objectively. Like, why is this man attracted to me? Why? Especially being in a position where you may not be there yet, and there's nothing wrong with admitting that. Like, going back to the movie, she was a secretary making ends meet. She was a single mother. And not to put any woman down, but we're not going to think about this emotionally. We're going to really break this down with a very objective lens. She was a single mother. I'm pretty sure she said she dropped out of law school and she was working now as a secretary at a firm. And then this established business partner, this man, and bear in mind, when they met, just to give you guys a bit of context, she was giving a file to them in a meeting, and because she just had a baby, she had I think she was like pumping, so she didn't pump, and like the milk kind of went through her shirt, so you could see the spots on her shirt where the milk came out, and she was embarrassed, and the men were laughing at her. She ran out, and then all of a sudden this man, this Prince Charming, this charming, like beautiful, established, money making, on top of the world man, who by the way could have any woman he pleased. Like, he could pick from the top model to the top doctor to the top surgeon. He could pick anyone, but he picked this secretary who was caught in a very compromising moment. So again, you have to ask why. And I think if in the movie this woman just stopped and asked, why is this man so interested in me? And not only was he interested in her, he slept with her within 6 days, so within a week. And then I don't even remember the time frame, but I think it was within a few weeks or months they were engaged. Like, why was he in such a rush? She should have stopped to think, why was he in such a rush to get engaged to me? This man could have any woman in the world. And like I said, this does not mean the woman is any less than, but we need to use our brains. Why would he be in such a rush to be with this woman? And this could have saved a lot of heartache. Like, and I think the worst part is that it wasn't just her life that was affected, it was her daughter's life. And that's another thing. If you have children as well, you need to be very careful on the men you're bringing into their lives. But that's a story for another day. Going back to that, you need to actually ask, like, why does this man want me? Because if he genuinely saw her as a single mom struggling, he could have helped her. He could have offered to, help her out, build her career, pay her rent. I don't know. Even then, guys, that's still a bit, you need to be careful, because in this life ain't nothing free. But it's like, why was he so quick to try and mesh himself with her? That's my red flag. That's my questioning. And of course she allowed it to happen, but that's why we're here having this discussion. You need to be careful on how quickly a man tries to enmesh himself with you, especially when he seems to be the established person. You have to ask, what is wrong? It's like, what is wrong? Like, what's wrong with the milk? Like, the milk, it's not adding up. It's really not adding up, because a man in his stature, a man in his position, realistically would want to take his time, right? Especially if he has a reputation on the line, or he has things to lose. He actually has something to lose if things went wrong, but he was just so quick to get with her, to marry her, to become this woman's daughter's father, which many people will not be willing to do. And again, I'm not shaming this woman in any way. I'm just trying to kind of highlight the dynamic here, or highlight the red flags, like boom boom boom, antennas up. Because why are you chasing, like, what is it about me? And I think as women as a whole, if you stop to actually ask that question, it will save us from a lot. And I can tell you guys stories for days about this concept. Like, I remember I knew someone who was a very young girl, beautiful. She was catching the attention of older, established wealthy men, and she found that it wasn't a thing that they were necessarily trying to wow her, like, take her out, buy her, I don't know, some dinner, a drink, a bag, something, right? But it was just more like a tension thing, like a feeling thing, like they just wanted access. And then eventually she got to a point where she had to ask, like, why though? Like, what made you think you could have access without doing anything, without making, like, wowing her, buying a gift, flowers, like being intentional, actually getting to know her? Like, what made you think you could just have access? And being in that position as a woman, you'd probably think, wow, like, he likes me, he chose me, I was chosen, I'm special. Especially if you're someone that's been isolated in your real life, or don't really have many friends or family. Well, like, this really makes you very susceptible to this kind of thing. Even what was I watching this week? I was watching Tell Me Lies on Disney Plus. Make sure you guys watch that too. I haven't really finished it, but I was starting to watch season 3. Like, this dynamic has really been highlighted to me recently. And if you've watched Tell Me Lies, spoiler alert, you know that Brie had an affair with one of her professors, right? And at the time it was this like thrilling, hot thing, and then it ended very badly when she found out it was basically all just a game, right? And she obviously matured. She was in her final year of uni at that point, and she basically witnessed a girl coming out of his office basically insinuating that now he's basically got another girl. And then she spoke to the girl, befriended the girl, and then she was like talking to the girl, and then she went back to her original friends and she was like, guys, when I spoke to her, not to be rude, she just seemed so insecure, so like such low self-esteem, self-deprecating. And then she was like, was I like that? Is that why he chose me? Basically having that realization that she wasn't special, it wasn't that, she was this unique young woman. Don't get me wrong, like I said, every woman has worth, every woman has leverage, and that's the problem. Brie didn't know her leverage, and because of that she just gave it away. Maybe he spent a few dollars on hotels, and I don't know, I think he bought her a camera at some point, but she was basically realizing, like, wow, I was that woman, and he knew that. And I think that's the crazy thing, these men know what they're doing. I don't want to say he was a predator, because they were both consenting adults, and I think it's more of a thing where she just didn't know. She didn't know. It's kind of like when you're a business person and you make a deal knowing you're gonna have the advantage, but if the person you're doing business with doesn't really understand or doesn't realize, like, the silver lining, or when you write a contract and then you put something in like a small print, and you just wanted to get lost in the document. Technically they didn't lie, you didn't break the law, you just weren't aware of something that was there. It was there. It may have been fine print, but it was there. So it's like, I won't say he was a predator, but still he knew what he was doing. Anyways, back to my original point, and I say that all to say that Brie didn't know her power or her leverage, and she realized, it's like now she's realizing that the reason why this man pursued her and was willing to risk his profession as a professor is because she was an easy target, easy access. She had low self-esteem, she was insecure, she had no power, she didn't have power, presence, leverage, and she was isolated as well. And her friends, even when she told her friends about it, they tried to tell her, like, girl, No, but she was just, you know, she thought she knew it all, but she learned later on that this was a pattern of this man. He targets insecure, self-deprecating girls, and they fall for it. And that goes back to my original point, guys. Life is not a fantasy. It's really not. And watching The Housemaid really just reinforced this point that sometimes you need to stop and ask, why does this man want you? Why does this man want me? Or what do you want from me? One thing that Shira 7 always says, I don't care what your opinions are on that woman. He says a lot of things that are very factually true, even though, you know, take it with a pinch of salt. But Shira 7 always says, like, if you attract your type, be suspicious, okay? And I'm gonna leave the video here. If a man comes into your life and he seems to tick every box, yeah, don't go, oh my god, the love of my life, my soulmate. And don't get me wrong, like, that could very much be. But always have one eye open, like one eye open when you're sleeping, one eye open when I'm sleeping, just one eye open, because you never know. You never ever know, okay? The only people you can 100% know their motives is you and God. Like, honestly, be suspicious when the older established, and that could be even within your age range, whatever the case may be, guys. Never just fool and think, oh, my Prince Charming has come, oh, someone finally sees me, because a lot of the time they're not. It's a trap or it's a power play. And yeah, this channel is just all about power plays, and I'ma say take it with a grain of salt, okay? But yeah, if you enjoy my content, enjoy these videos, I'm just here to empower the women. Like, let's go. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.